The first Power Rankings of 2021 are out. And, hey, my standard approach, the defending Super Bowl champion remains number one until someone knocks them off, Chris. So the Bucs, by virtue of winning it all, the far bigger prize than that incredibly awesome Super Bowl ring, being number one in the PFT Power Rankings to start the season. That's the top half. I'm sure there's going to be a little controversy. I'm sure there's a few surprises. And the folks in the bottom half, look, somebody's got to be in the bottom half. That's the hardest thing about the Power Rankings before any games have been played. The bad teams don't want to accept the fact that they're bad teams, and some of those bad teams won't be bad. They will climb. I will acknowledge that that does happen, but there will be teams that deserve and earn, through very hard work, their spots in the lower rung of the Power Rankings. Chris, anything jump off to you when you saw it?
There's
Stunned,
only one
surprised,
thing.
Dismayed,
one
chagrined?
thing that I think, one thing. Listen, I got no arguments other than I think you're too high on the Chargers at number 8. That would be my one thing that just jumped out to me right off the bat. Again, and let me state my case, and then you could state your case. I mean, obviously, I know the quarterback's special. I think what worries me a little bit is, and I know they have a talented roster, it's just new coaching staff, new offensive coordinator for quarterback in, year 2 of his career. Derwin James' health, Bosa's health. And I just look at, not that I don't respect their team and go, ooh, yeah, there's potential, but I don't think I would have put them in front of the Saints, the Patriots, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Titans. I would have had them down below that group next. So explain yourself, counselor.
I think that they have all the pieces.
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert, who was the Offensive Rookie of the Year last year and was awesome, getting thrust into the fray week 2 thanks to Tyrod Taylor's unfortunate encounter with Dr. Needle. Dr. Needle, baby. I wonder when the statute of limitations runs on that defamation claim. Anyway, and we say it in jest, Dr. Needle. We're just having some fun.
Yes.
We're not saying you committed malpractice. We're just saying that he was poked with a needle and it punctured his lung, and that was that. But I'm a big believer in Brandon Staley as a head coach. And for now, their guys are healthy, okay?
Yeah.
If they get injuries, that's when they fall off. But if they're healthy, they're going to win games. They're going to be a factor. They're going to be a force in the AFC. And unfortunately for them, they're in the same division as the Chiefs. But, it was a couple years ago. I think it was 2018.
Yes.
2018, where the Chargers went to Kansas City on a Thursday night and upset them. Remember that?
That's right. Right. They're both 12-4 that year.
If the Chargers hadn't lost the late season game to the Ravens,
right?
Wasn't that how it worked out?
Yes,
the Chargers
they would have been
the
the
1 seed.
Right. Instead, they had to go after their wild card win. They had to go to the divisional round in New England and pay the Patriots, and they got their butts whooped up there in New England. Right. But yes, you're right. I mean, there's certainly aspects of that team, to your point, and we know they're top notch. They really are. I guess it's just a little bit of the change, quarterback in a different system, which I still don't understand why Shane Steichen wasn't kept there with as good as Justin Herbert was last year. But you're right, the talent's there. I guess I just don't have the guts yet. I got to see it a little bit more. I want to see the offensive line and the run game take off a little bit, and I just want to see what this new regime is going to look like. Kudos to you for having the guts to do it, because their roster is worthy of being in that area. I won't disagree with you there on that point.
Question from Jake L. How do you justify the Giants as anything more than a bottom 2 squad, given the year that Daniel Jones had last year? For shame, Jake L. says. I thought Jones wasn't bad last year. This is the year that they want him to make a big jump. They went out and added Kenny Golladay in free agency, Kyle Rudolph in free agency, used their first-round pick on Kadarius Toney. They are loading the cannon with weapons, and as we've said all along, this is a no-excuses year for Daniel Jones. It's step up or step off. I don't think the Giants are too high. If anything, I thought maybe there'd be some complaints that they're too low.
No, I think you got them right in the right spot. You know, they're by some teams that you go, okay, there's talent, but they got to prove themselves a little bit. Yeah, there's too many questions with the Giants. I understand the Daniel Jones question. I get it. You know, my argument to that, too, is like, yeah, it wasn't as bad last year. There's things he can improve on. But come on, Giant fans, stop just blaming the quarterback. What was really supposed to happen again last year? What was supposed to, no Saquon? Way below average offensive line. You know, not great weapons at receiver. Evan Ingram had the drops. I mean, how great did you think he can be? He's not Superman, you know. So, yeah, he's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, but I still think you can win, and we'll see. We've talked about it a lot, right? Daniel Jones just got to be a little more backyardish in his play. Can't be, I'm in the pocket, I'm going to pat the ball 4 times because coach said go through the reads. 1, 2, maybe a quick look at 3. Let me look around. Do I got time to throw or get out of the pocket? He's a good athlete. He throws the ball on the run. The Giants are a team that I do say, at 22, I go, watch out for them. You know, there are some aspects of their team I like, and I'm a believer in Joe Judge and Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, that they can come with the appropriate game plans along with Jason Garrett on the offensive side of the ball week to week. And I think they got the talent a little bit more here to back it up. The big question is O-line. They couldn't play Daniel Jones until preseason game 3 because I think they were scared to death of their O-line if they could protect him. That's not a good thing to go into the year with, and that's something I'll be watching with early on with the Giants.
The divisional assignment helps as well. They're in the one division of all 8 in the NFL that doesn't have a powerhouse team. So that's an opening for the Giants as well.
That's right.
If they can piece it together. And if Jones steps up, he doesn't have to be Josh Allen of last year.
Right.
But they want to see that improvement. Or, hey, they got 2 first-round picks next year. We talked a few weeks ago about how they didn't pick up the second first-round pick next year with an eye toward replacing Daniel Jones. But if he's not very good this year, they can either trade up.
Flexibility.
They can trade those picks to someone else. They could try to make a play for Russell Wilson if he decides he wants out of Seattle, or if he still wants out of Seattle, as the case may be after the season. He's kind of set that aside for now. So they have a lot of flexibility. It all comes down to what Daniel Jones does this year for the Giants. Paul Silva asks, if the 49ers were publicly committed to their quarterback, would they be higher in your power rankings? And absolutely, yes. And it's not a matter of being publicly committed. It's a matter of creating the sense that there is a plan, that there is something, that it's not just a series of impulses that will enter the brain or the gut of Kyle Shanahan to tell him what he should do. I mean, get a Ouija board or something at least. Let's have some idea where this is going. That, to me, is the one thing that potentially holds them back, this confusion and uncertainty that emanates from Kyle Shanahan when it comes to the quarterback position.
I understand that. I mean, yes, that is the perception around the team right now. Now, you know, you've heard me say, I think I said it last week, I do think Shanahan has an unbelievable way of communicating and getting his team behind what he's thinking as far as game plans and how to use the roster and everything that goes along with that. So that's where I go, Shanahan's special that way. I'm not going to say he can't pull this off. And, you know, right at 11, I understand you putting them at 11. I honestly think the 49ers roster is a top 5 roster in football when I really look at it. But the quarterback question, you know, do they have faith in Jimmy Garoppolo? Can he stay healthy? Can he play at a high level? Or is he going to look like the guy we saw, you know, in the playoffs a few years ago where they had to run the ball? All those questions I think are justified and why you put them at 11. But, man, Mike, when you think about their offense, you go through it and you go, where are they not elite? Receivers, Debo and Ayuk, elite. George Kittle, maybe best tight end in football. Mostert. And the running back room itself, yeah, it might not be like household superstar names, but they're superstar-type talents. And then that offensive line is as good as anybody in football. And then you go on the defensive side of the ball, their front seven's up there with anybody in football, too. Secondary corners got some questions. But, man, that 49er team, if Shanahan could keep it together and keep everybody believing and the quarterback thing not getting too crazy, I think they're going to have a big-time say in how this league plays out this year.
Remember how we criticized Jimmy Garoppolo for that touchdown run against the Raiders where he went headfirst into 2 guys in the end zone?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, right.
I think we're going to see him do that all year. I think he's going to be wired to say, and this is how I would handle it, hey, they're trying to get rid of me anyway. I am leaving nothing on the field. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play my game. I'm going to play my style, and I'm going to do what I can to help win games. And they're going to have to pull me off the field, or they're going to have to scrape me up with a spatula to get me out of here, because I am putting it all out there every time I go out on the field. Injuries, health, whatever, be damned. My job is to fend off this guy that they're trying to cram onto the field in my place. And that's exactly the mindset I would have.
I think you're right. I think that's the way he's going to be. He's going to try to ruin their plans. You know, he's going to try to say, "Up your butt, Joe Boo. I'm still really good, and you got another quarterback decision to make." Hopefully, they won't bleep that out in Manchester or London. Sorry, London. That should be okay, right?
I don't know, but you know what?
Yes, right.
Smoking crack. That's all I'll say.
They bleeped it out. Yeah, you just got bleeped out. They don't even know what you said. All right, other one. I want to ask you about.
I can only imagine what they think we said if they bleep out smoking crack. What do they think we said?
I know. You're right. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know either. I know. Well, the good thing my podcast is not on over there, because they wouldn't know any of my sentences or what I'm saying, as much as I swear on that. Wait, one more question for you. Colts at 19 in the playoffs last year. I think we both think they got talent. I think we're both on the same page that, I don't know, they got a little bit of a negative vibe around them throughout the preseason and training camp. You know, was that your ultimate justification for putting them there at 19?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Okay.
The constant string of injuries, the COVID situation, the quarterback who is obstinate about being not vaccinated. Oh, and it's not a coincidence they're one spot behind the Vikings, the other team, with the quarterback who is obstinate about not being vaccinated, because chances are that's going to make a difference at some point this year. There's going to be a key player who's not available on the Colts or the Vikings to play this season, and it's going to contribute to a loss that otherwise could have been a win. And when it's time to look at the final standings, oh, the Colts just missed it. Oh, the Vikings just missed it. That vibe to me is what has them lower, both teams, lower than what they otherwise would have been, Chris.
Yeah, I understand it. I mean, it scares me too. You know, they're to me one of the most intriguing teams, you know, in the NFL, because their talent is there to be a major player, you know, in the AFC. But, yeah, those issues, you know, Carson Wentz, new team, you know, who is that extra superstar that jumps out on both sides of the ball? They need one more, you know, take the pressure off. We got a big-time player here where we don't have to execute, you know, on a 10-play, 85-yard drive every time. We got a guy who can, like, if Paris Campbell, can he come through? Paris Campbell has Odell Beckham-type talent and speed. I mean, he's a game breaker. I saw him in the Big Ten, you know, against all those teams. It didn't matter who it was. Running reverses for 80 yards, catching slants for 80 yards. Can he be that guy? If they can, like, have that one more weapon on offense, and like I think you've heard me say, one more guy on defense that you have to game plan and think about a little bit, then I'd say watch out for the Colts. But I'm with you. I'm a little scared of them right now. I will say I think I would have had them in front of the 18, 17, the Dolphins, Cowboys, and Vikings. I probably would have had them right around 15 or 16, but I feel you with where you put them.
And one thing about the Colts, you know, this vibe contributed to one of my decisions yesterday for our Offensive Player of the Year draft. I was thinking about Jonathan Taylor. He is one of the bright spots for that team, and
Definitely.
He can have a monster year in 2021. But it just feels like there's a weight that is dragging down the Colts this year, and it's up to them to shed it and see how high they can go in, not as importantly the power rankings, but in their division as they contend with the Tennessee Titans.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.